Welcome in, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. Back again to talk our Week 8 recap, and what a week it was. My word. This, honestly, one of the best sports weekends I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah, you gotta throw baseball in there, even though this is a fantasy football podcast.
Those
games.
The World Series, obviously, Clayton Kershaw is just watching him pitch. Even though it didn't turn out that great, but just watching him pitch is incredible. Yeah. These two teams in the World Series are just awesome. Yeah. But and then college football, Penn State, Ohio State. We got Penn State losing. Yeah, I don't know what to think of sports anymore. It's just it is crazy week.
Full of surprises.
We finally get to the NFL. Texans and Seahawks. Fantastic game. You think that's what all we'd be talking about today, but no, because we got trades happening like crazy, injuries happening like crazy, suspensions being revoked and put back in place. I don't know, a lot of things going on, but Stranger Things coming out. That's hard.
Just throw that in there. Why not?
You have to. It's been
a weekend.
That's the weird thing. I thought this is the perfect weekend for that because both the Packers and Alabama were on a bye this week. So
I don't know how you lined that one up.
I just thought I was going to be sitting around with twiddling my thumbs all weekend, but no, it was a fantastic weekend. So, like I said, Week 8 recap. We're going to talk mainly news today because there's a lot of it. We'll get into our standouts from the week. We're going to skip our flops because we got so much to talk about. We're going to do a few stock ups and stock downs, which we'll probably hit on a few of those throughout the news. A lot of implications to get through. And at the end, we'll get waiver wire ads, which, again, we'll probably hit on a few of those throughout the news section as well. So, starting with the news. I guess we'll start with trades. I'm going to go through all the trades to start. This is probably the wildest trade deadline I have sseen in the NFL.
It's been a good one. Good. I don't know about good, but it's been exciting.
It's been exciting. It's been shocking, exciting, MLB, NBA-esque when it comes to the trades.
Yeah.
Which is, NFL needs that. We haven't seen that in a while from the NFL. But anyway, first trade going down. Patriots trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers for a 2018 second-round pick. So from a Patriots perspective, they're pretty much banking on Brady playing well into his 40s.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. But obviously, 49ers getting their supposable quarterback of the future. Again, this is just enough.
It's not a large sample size. You have to go off Garoppolo. But I think he's going to be great. I don't know about great, but I think he's definitely going to be an upgrade from C.J. Beathard.
That's not saying a lot. He's not. Garoppolo's not going to play this week, but the small sample size. We've seen this the past couple of years. People trading for these quarterbacks that have done really nothing. Yeah, and they spend a lot to get them, and it just doesn't work out. So
the thing that was encouraging for me was how much. I was reading some articles about the trade and how much Belichick didn't want to trade him or get rid of him. They just had to, just because Tom Brady's situation. You're not gonna sit Tom Brady. You can't bank on him getting hurt or anything like that. And they just had to. It was a team decision, is what they had to do. But he had a lot of good things to say about Garoppolo, obviously it's Bill Belichick. Love him or hate him, he's produced a good quarterback. So the fact that he had so much high praise for him. Makes me confident about him going in the future.
Yeah, the only thing I can really say positive about Garoppolo is, aside from the other quarterbacks like Brock Osweiler being traded and Matt Flynn being traded, is he actually had Belichick and Brady to learn under. Yeah. So maybe it'll work out. I'm glad you're cracking that beer because I forgot to mention it.
Be careful.
Yeah. Today we are drinking, what is it, Dirty Girl? It's Dirty Girl.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just kind of...
Brandon picked this one out.
Hey, it is right down the road in Bryson City, North Carolina. Nantahala Brewing Company.
Yep.
Yeah, Bryson City, North Carolina.
It was born in the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains.
In Great Smoky Mountains, so...
That's where we are.
Yeah, Dirty Girl Blonde Ale. I've been sipping on it a few minutes. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I like it. This is the first thing the first thing I've had from Bryson City.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of blondes, but
Yeah.
it's not bad.
I like
kind of
blondes.
like it.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I love the cap, by the way.
Yeah, the cap is really good.
I'm working on making a table out of bottle caps, so this will
Yeah.
add to the collection. It's got a moose, a bear, and an eagle on it.
It doesn't get any more American than that.
Not at all.
I don't know where the moose fits into the Smoky Mountains, though.
Hey, they're roaming around. They travel. They migrate, don't they?
I've never seen a moose in the Smoky Mountains.
Okay, we're getting... All right, back to football. Let's see. What other trades we got? Texans trade offensive tackle Dwayne Brown to Seattle for Jeremy Lane and 2 picks. So, I mean, I don't think it really hurts the Texans at all because they were playing without... a lot of people are saying it's hurting Deshaun Watson, that he's not going to have his left tackle. But they've been doing that without him all season. So
I don't think it's going to be that big of an
no,
issue.
I don't think it's going to matter at all. It does drastically help Seattle's offensive line, which they
definitely helps Seattle.
Yeah, they needed it big time. I don't think they're going to lean on the running game. Still, it's still going to be the passing game.
It's still about Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it definitely helps Seattle when it comes to protecting Russell.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now that we got a few big trades coming in like right before the trade deadline. Ajayi traded to the Eagles for a 4th-round pick.
For nothing.
That's what I think. I think the Dolphins know something that we don't. I think they're really, really scared of his health.
There's something not right there.
But even obviously,
even if he is hurt, 4th-round pick.
I mean,
I don't see it.
I think they could have gotten more, but
that's what I think.
The Dolphins at this point. Ajayi wasn't really doing anything there. They weren't really doing anything as a team. I don't really know who's going to... I assume people are going to go after Kenyon Drake and Damian Williams on the waivers this week. I feel like that situation is going to be really, really bad.
Well, it's a terrible offense. I mean, it doesn't help the offense. They're not going to thrust Kenyon Drake in it and you just go off. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, they can't. They have a terrible offensive line.
Yeah, I like both Kenyon Drake and Damian Williams as just football players and running backs.
Too, yeah.
But
that whole team's just in shambles.
I just think, that 1, they're in shambles, and 2, they're going to split the workload if that.
Yeah. If you had to pick up one of the 2, which one would you choose?
Probably Drake, just because of the big play.
I would go Kenyon Drake.
And especially in PPR. But Damian Williams, I don't know. He's been there a while, and they used him quite a bit in the past. So I don't know. He's definitely going to be their goal line back. I know that.
Yeah.
Now, Ajayi going to the Eagles. A lot of people are saying this is obviously making the Eagles far and away the best team in the league.
Certainly giving them death. You can kiss Wendell Smallwood goodbye.
Yeah, but I don't see what Ajayi is going to provide the Eagles that LeGarrette Blount hasn't been already. And I don't like LeGarrette Blount as a running back. But LeGarrette Blount, he's just a ground and pound type of guy. He's doing what Ajayi did in Miami. And aside from Ajayi last year getting his 200-yard games, he really hasn't done much of anything. So I don't see Ajayi getting in there and being that productive. I don't know. I don't
know. I think. Well, I mean, it all depends on his health. We don't know.
I don't see it helping Ajayi. I really don't.
We don't know what we don't know. But the thing, I just don't know what Blunt's role is going to go. They came out and said the Eagles coach came out and said that Blunt's still going to be the starting running back, which is strange to me. But Blount doesn't have the yards per carry that's elite this year. He's been getting the job done. They have a really great offense. It's a huge upgrade in terms of just offenses for Ajayi. The offensive line's way better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The team is better, but I really don't think...
As far as pure fantasy value, I think we're just going to have to sit back and watch.
Yeah, I think the situation is not ideal. It's not like he's going to... It's not like he's going to a team like... I don't know, the Redskins, where they don't really know who their running back is.
Yeah.
And he's getting the entire workload. I think Blunt's going to be involved. I still honestly think Smallwood or Corey Clement is going to get the third down work. Ajayi is never... I mean, he can catch the ball.
Yeah.
But I don't see him getting the third down role either. So I don't see that much of an improvement of what he's been doing in Miami, which really hasn't been anything this year at all.
No, if you do,
he's yet to get in the end zone.
Yeah,
I do want to say our dollar bet with Peyton on LeGarrette Blount getting 4.5 or over under 4.5 touchdowns. I think we're screwed. I think we're screwed now. But
now we are.
So if there's any downside, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Kelvin Benjamin also traded in right before the deadline to the Bills for a 3rd and 7th round pick. I'm
excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited if I'm Kelvin Benjamin. I'm excited if I'm Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. Huge upgrade for the Bills offense.
Yeah, Bills actually have a receiver now.
Yeah.
So that's definitely good for Tyrod. I really don't. Well, I should say it's better for Tyrod than Kelvin because Kelvin was still getting quite a bit of targets in Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think
he was still the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't
with Funchess there.
I don't think Kelvin's fantasy value is going to change that much. Tyrod,
I don't either.
Tyrod, I still like a lot. He's still, I think, one of the more underrated quarterbacks. So, if anything, definitely a viable streamer, if not a complete week-to-week starter.
Yeah.
Now for the Panthers, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
That was a very strange move from the Panthers.
They don't have a big target anymore. I want to say that Funchess is going to come in and be like the target hog and be like the number 1 wide receiver, but I really don't know. Cam's not reliable.
No.
They don't have a run game at all.
No.
Maybe Greg Olsen comes back in a few weeks. That might help open things up, but
until then, I don't know what we're going to see.
I really don't know. I mean, that's what I assume Funchess is going to be more of like a wide receiver 2 in fantasy going forward. Yeah. Maybe high end wide receiver 3, but
Cam's just not accurate enough.
He's not reliable
to produce consistent wide receiver fantasy options.
Yeah, he can be, but Funchess isn't as big as Kelvin, and Cam needs big targets to be able to produce in the passing game.
Which, on a side note, I'm glad they stopped letting McCaffrey run it up the middle because he was just going to get pummeled every time.
We'll get into that later,
or
a little bit later. But Christian McCaffrey, I've been saying it for weeks now. I think he's going to be the bust of the year, aside from Brandon Cooks. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
But McCaffrey, he's not. Basically, the Panthers wasted a top 10 pick on a guy like basically a worse Danny Woodhead, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Danny Woodhead was Danny Woodhead even drafted? I don't even know if Woodhead was drafted.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he was, but like they wasted a top 10 pick on a guy like that, and
he just doesn't fit their offense. I don't think
he doesn't fit their offense, and you don't draft a player like that early. He's like a specialty player. He's a third down back.
Right.
He's like Darren Sproles. They're nice and exciting in certain roles and on some plays and on certain offenses, but this is not, especially living up to the hype of a top 10 pick, not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What other trades are crazy? Let's see. I will say, I guess the only other trade news, apparently, Adam Schefter reported, Browns believed that they had completed a trade to get A.J. McCarron from the Bengals before the 4 p.m. deadline, but the NFL came in and said no, they were a moment or two too late. So this
is so stupid.
See, that's good enough already. But apparently, Adam Schefter said that there were reports of the team actually celebrating that it was complete.
Oh my god!
They said they were too busy celebrating to actually call it in.
No way.
That's the most Browns thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh man, that is awful.
I don't know.
I would have really loved to have seen that trade too.
I would too.
I think that would have been huge. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot from A.J. McCarron since he's entered the league because he's been behind Andy Dalton. But give him the chance in that awful. I mean, the Browns can't get worse.
Yeah.
Deshaun Kaiser is not ready to start in the NFL.
No, not at all.
And obviously, they don't believe he is either because they just tried to get A.J. McCarron.
Yeah, I've been trying to see A.J. McCarron get a opportunity in the NFL for a long time, and he has just as good of a track record as Garoppolo even. May not have the coaching staff or the quarterback to learn from, but definitely not
quite the quarterback to learn from.
But McCarron definitely, Give the guy a chance.
I'd like to see him start.
Yeah, the Bengals hold him in such high regard.
Yeah.
And yet they still won't push him over Andy Dalton. But
yeah,
I don't know. So obviously Browns missing out there. All right. One more piece of Browns news, just real quick. Josh Gordon is actually meeting on Wednesday, so I guess this will be airing on Wednesday. So today, meeting to discuss reinstatement. I don't really know what to think of that. It's just going to be a waiting game. If he is reinstated, obviously the trade deadline's done, so he would be on the Browns. Not a good situation. I don't really like that. I don't know. He might be worth an ad if you're thinking about tomorrow, if you have an open spot, but I feel like you're going to be dropping him in a few days anyway.
Even if he comes back and he's exactly the way he was in 2013. He's still going to have Deshaun Kaiser throwing him the ball, which, I understand he's done it with poor quarterbacks before, but it's an unknown situation.
Yeah, we'll just see how that plays out. It might not even add up to anything. So,
yep.
All right. So that's all the trade and I guess trade news basically. But we got plenty more. We're still rolling.
Yeah.
I do want to mention Zach Miller suffered a dislocated knee in Sunday's game. Will miss the rest of the year, but it's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
He had
We're not even worried about him playing football again. Whether or not he's going to be able to walk again.
He's not playing again. He's on the older side anyway, and he's had knee problems in the past. But he had to undergo emergency vascular surgery to possibly save his leg.
Yeah.
This is basically what happened I think it's a little more severe, but with Teddy Bridgewater last year. Obviously, it's a lot bigger news here because we actually saw it.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. Don't watch it.
No. I did not watch it, and I'm not going to watch it.
It was not pretty. But yeah, apparently
I didn't even know that could happen, from a dislocation.
Well, I
had no idea.
That's what they feared that with Teddy Bridgewater last year, and apparently because the Bears doctor, finally we have something good to say about a doctor on the team.
He called it right.
Yeah, but no, he took his blood pressure on the field and it was dropping significantly, so they knew right away. So shout out to that Bears doctor. I can't remember his name right now, but if he wouldn't have caught that, he could be losing a leg.
Yeah, that's just that. I can't even imagine.
They said his artery was one of his arteries was shredded from the top of the knee to mid shin.
Wow,
shredded. I don't even know how you fix that.
I don't know how you do it in the first place, but I definitely don't know how you fix it. So
it's basically like his leg was pretty much torn off. It was just
crazy.
hanging on by the bone.
Yeah, that's gross.
So yeah, prayers out to Zach Miller. Hopefully, obviously his football career is over, but I don't know, maybe he'll get a commentating gig here somewhere.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him with Tony Romo. You never know.
All right, Ezekiel Elliott. Here we go, back in it. Ezekiel Elliott denied his restraining order, which effectively suspends him for 6 games. Now, we did learn that they've already filed an emergency injunction. The NFLPA filed the emergency injunction to try to, again, stop this suspension from happening. I don't know what to say, honestly. I'm pretty much it's going to make me mad or madder every time we talk about this.
Which is every week.
Yeah, but I don't understand. It's just take the dang suspension. That's all I have to say. You're clearly not going to win. You're at least, if not fully in the wrong, you are somewhat in the wrong if you're Ezekiel Elliott. I understand the NFLPA trying to fight the league, but it's just two sides yelling at each other.
Yeah.
I'm not on either side at this point. Honestly, if I was going to pick a side, I'd lean more towards Goodell, surprisingly.
Surprisingly. that is surprising.
But the NFL, it's a dictatorship. As much as they want it to be a democracy, it's a dictatorship, and it is a dictatorship because of the NFLPA.
Yeah. They gave them the power, and now they're complaining.
And now they're whining about it. Yeah. And even if they're talking about this one specific incident with the domestic violence issue, but if I was Goodell, I would just say, I would lay out his entire behavior over the past year and just say, okay, at least take a 3-game suspension or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, they're going to fight it to the end. Zeke's not going to.
No.
I have
no
no clue.
without a fight. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's a week by week production. That's all it is.
I don't know. Like, yeah, we're going to be watching it day in and day out, but what is there? I don't know. Is there a possibility that Zeke can play this week?
I think if he misses a game, isn't it just like over? I mean, if he's suspended for one game, he has to sit out the whole 6.
I have no idea.
I thought that was because
that sounds a little odd though.
I thought it was.
I don't know. We'll keep you posted.
That's my best guess.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at the423football. If you, we will be posting constantly over there, trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
All right. Now into some injury news. We're slowly getting through this. Jordan Reed left Sunday's game with a hamstring injury. Not
surprised.
Not good.
No one.
Not good. He's had other injuries in the past. Obviously, the concussion's been a big thing. But early on in his career, hamstring was the biggest thing that he was dealing with. Yeah. And I think
hamstrings for everyone are a big problem, and that's just
especially if you have a history of them.
It's a tough injury to come back from quickly. I mean, there's nothing you can do about him. And he has a history of it, so that just makes it worse.
I think we're going to be without Jordan Reed for a while.
Yeah, it's a tough break for him.
Yeah. Chris Hogan suffered a shoulder injury and was seen in a sling after the game. Apparently, he will not require surgery, but I do expect him to miss a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think they said he was going to miss a couple of weeks. I think I saw that today on ESPN.
Yeah, which is I don't know. Patriots are hurting at the wide receiver position, and I want to say it's good for Brandon Cooks, but they have to actually use Brandon Cooks in a way, or in a different way than they have been. They can't just keep sending him on these fly routes and expect something to happen. Because even last week, I said he was going to have a really, really bad week, and look, it happened. But if they want Brandon Cooks to succeed and this offense to succeed in the way they have been, especially through receivers, because I think they can do this with running backs. Too, because they have plenty of running backs who can run these short underneath routes. But Brandon Cooks has got to start running underneath routes as well if he's going to take over that Chris Hogan type of role. Yeah. Maybe it'll be more Danny Amendola. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm still not liking Brandon Cooks in fantasy. All right, Devonta Freeman is dealing with a minor shoulder injury. I don't really expect anything there. I don't think he'll practice much this week, but I assume he'll play. Yeah. Jameis Winston aggravated his shoulder in Sunday's game. Kind of in danger of missing this week.
Yeah, that puts the Buccaneers in a tough position. I mean, Dirk Cutter said that he took a shot. I think it was late in the game, maybe the fourth quarter, and he said he thought about pulling him out because it was a really tough hit, and it obviously hurt his shoulder. And I think that's what it's stemming from. And, he was kind of banged up last week, even though it didn't really affect him. It's still the same shoulder, and it's his throwing arm. That's something to monitor. I mean, I don't know that. It's not a guarantee that he's going to play next week. And
if I was Cutter, I'd probably just go ahead and roll out Fitzpatrick and let Winston rest a week, because they don't have a bye. So if you're gonna
really needed that,
you better rest him early or sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's a tough spot though, because you rest him, they're going to lose to the Saints if he's not playing, because Fitzmagic can't play a whole game, and their season's pretty much over if he sits the next 2 games.
Yeah, I don't know. Tough situation there. We're gonna have to monitor that all week. All right, Andrew Luck once again rolled out for the week. I still think he's going to miss the rest of the season. Obviously not good for the Colts players. Yeah. Danny Woodhead will be eligible to return in Week 11. So, that's going to be interesting to see how the Ravens use that backfield. Obviously, Alex Collins is probably going to be one of the bigger acquisitions this week. Yeah. So, Danny Woodhead coming in might take away a little bit, at least, especially from Buck Allen. Once Woodhead comes back, I don't like Buck Allen at all. No. D.D. Westbrook has been listed as designated to return, so they have 21 days to activate him. I assume they will, because the receivers for Jacksonville not too great, and I'm excited to see DD. I don't know what waiver priority I would use on him, or what I don't know. If you have a spot, I think it'd be nice to add him.
Yeah.
Greg Olson is also eligible to practice this week and expects to play sometime this month, or next month, November, I should say.
Right.
Definitely, if you have a spot, grab Greg Olson. No Kelvin Benjamin. Someone's got to catch the ball. Greg Olson's going to be their biggest target.
Yep.
I expect him getting 10 targets a game. Easy,
easy.
Once he's back.
Yep.
Last bit of news, Bruce Arians expects David Johnson to miss the rest of the season. I think it's pretty much time to drop him.
Whoa.
Unless you're in a keeper dynasty. I mean, obviously, in our league,
it's a touchy subject.
in keeper and dynasty. But if you're in a redraft league, I think it's time to cut ties with David Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't expect him to be back. There's no guarantee of, how that offense is going to... You can't forget that Carson Palmer's out. It's going to be a bad offense.
They're not going to be in playoff contention.
They're not going to be contending for a playoff spot. I don't see any reason to roll out David Johnson this year.
Yeah. All right. Moving into our standouts. That was a lot of news. We spent like half an hour talking about news. But moving into our standouts of the week, starting with the QB position, I'm going to kick it off with Deshaun Watson.
He's not that good.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to stop the hate.
No, it's time to say, no, he's had easy matchups. He hasn't played any strong defense. No. He went in to the Legion of Boom and said, no, I'm going to throw for 400 yards. I'm going to throw for 4 touchdowns.
I'm going to run for 50-plus
yards. And I'm going to run all over you. And it's just crazy how good he played that game.
I did not expect this at all.
No, I mean, I expected him to do well and better than most people expected, but over 400 passing yards on that defense is absolutely insane.
Well, coming out of college, I didn't think that his game would translate that well. I thought he was going to be more like a Tyrod Taylor, but he is so much more like a Russell Wilson.
Yeah, It was weird how similar those two play.
That game was incredible. Just seeing those two go back and forth.
They were just duking it out the whole time.
Yeah, Watson obviously finished with 32 fantasy points. He threw 3 picks, so it could have been more. The fact that you can score 32 fantasy points and throw 3 picks is incredible.
Yeah.
But segueing into your quarterback standout, go ahead.
Russell Wilson, the other Deshaun Watson, 452 passing yards. He paired Deshaun Watson's 4 touchdowns. He only threw 1 interception. He's a little more seasoned. But 26 for 41, just on fire. He got it done. If 50 rushing yards. He just showed that he's not done. Even with a terrible offensive line, he's not done. And they got better today.
Yeah, with Dwayne Brown. But I do want to we've seen Seattle in the past. Obviously, they still lean on the defense quite a bit. Not so much in this game. But
no, definitely not this game.
They've always had that really. They've been really, really run heavy. But now we're seeing the Russell Wilson, the passer, and it's incredible. He is one of the best deep balls in the league. And Deshaun Watson, I'm comparing these two guys because Deshaun Watson had one of the prettiest deep ball throws I've seen in a long time to Will Fuller. Yeah. And God, just how far he threw that and how little it got off the ground. It was like the arm strength. In such a little guy.
I know.
It was like Aaron Rodgers' arm strength.
It's one thing to see Carson Wentz throw a bomb to Mac Hollins. You kind of expect. Well, you don't really expect that. That was a really long pass. But I mean, he's a bigger guy, not quite as agile. But to see Deshaun Watson do something like that, it's just where's that come from?
That's what his deep ball and like Cam's deep ball, Deshaun Watson's deep ball this game is better than any deep ball I've seen Cam throw. And Cam's a pretty good deep ball thrower.
Yeah, he is good at that.
That's about all he can do when it comes to the passing game. But Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson are standouts at the QB position. Yeah. Moving to running backs, who you have as a running back standout this week?
Alex Collins. He really stood out. I mean, he looked like he was fighting for a job this week. 18 for 113 yards. And he's averaging 6 yards per carry this year on 80 attempts, which is the highest out of any running back who has more than 15 attempts this year, which is just he's super efficient. I think that this was a game that they're going to look at and say, you're clearly the number one running back. And they're still going to work in. They're still going to work in Buck Allen. They're still going to have some pass catchers, but he caught 2 passes for 25 yards. I mean, that's not bad either. So they're still going to they can pass. He can
catch the ball, yeah.
Yeah, but either way, it's he definitely stood out to me this week. Who do you have at your standout for the running back position?
I'm going with LaShawn. Sorry,
still coming down with a black lung over there.
Oh my gosh, that was bad. That caught me good. Okay, my standout running back LaShawn McCoy. 173 yards in this game and a touchdown. Finally found the end zone. Yeah, he's finally breaking out, and
what a breakout!
Yeah, it was nice. LaShawn McCoy, as long as he stays healthy, is still one of the best backs in the league. Hopefully, Kelvin Benjamin opens up that offense even more.
That could be even more dangerous.
Can just run train on pretty much everybody, and there's pretty much no one behind him to vie for carries.
No, he's definitely not sacrificing any snaps.
Yeah. All right, moving into wide receivers. Who's your wide receiver standout?
Juju Smith-Schuster, just in this whole wake of the Martavis Bryant drama, he comes out. Martavis is on the bench. 7 receptions for 193 yards and a touchdown. Just decimated that defense. And he's only 20 years old. 20 years old. I mean,
I'm 23.
I mean, there are people held back that are still in high school and they might be 20 years old. I mean, it's just insane what he's doing. And he has earned the number 2 wide receiver spot on that team. I don't really care about Martavis Bryant at this point. He has earned that spot, and he's on the same page as Big Ben. Obviously, that doesn't hurt Antonio Brown at all, but he's clearly the number 2 wide receiver in that offense.
All right, my wide receiver standout of the week, I'm going with 2 because they're on the same team. DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Holy hell. We already talked about Deshaun Watson, but this is the other side of that. DeAndre Hopkins, 8 for 224 and a touchdown.
That's
Will Fuller,
stupid.
5 for 125 and 2 touchdowns.
Another multi-touchdown game from Will Fuller. He's not going to stop.
He really is. Honestly, I'm pretty sure he's mad that he caught 3 more balls because they weren't touchdowns. But the thing is,
he should have just dropped them on purpose once he saw that they wasn't going to be a touchdown.
But obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is the lead guy there.
Yeah.
He's going to get his. But we're talking about Will Fuller and what if he can sustain this. If Deshaun Watson's playing like he's playing, and Will Fuller, he had 8 targets in this game. So I think it's definitely sustainable. Definitely a wide receiver 2 going forward, without question.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone's talking about, Deshaun Watson obviously can't sustain 5 and 4 touchdowns per game.
I don't know.
He just did it against one of the most prolific pass defenses in the league and didn't even blink an eye. I mean, he can do it. If he can do it against them, he can do it against anyone.
And not to mention, he gets to play the Colts and the Titans in his own division. So
yes, and it might be 8 touchdowns those games, but there's no reason why he can't. There aren't plenty of touchdowns to go around. Even Lamar Miller, he's catching a touchdown through the air.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll do tight ends, and then I got one question for you. My tight end stand of the week is going to be Jimmy Graham. He had 2 touchdowns in this game, 3 straight games with a touchdown. I don't know how I see Will Fuller's touchdowns being more sustainable than Jimmy Graham's, but again, Russell Wilson, other side of the coin.
He's having to pass a lot more.
Yeah, he's passing a lot more, and the pass catchers are getting it done. Jimmy Graham's obviously the biggest target, definitely in the red zone. Yeah. So I definitely like Jimmy Graham moving forward.
Yeah, he's a big boy. My tight end standing out of the week, Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle rules.
12 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. And what is, to say the least, a shaky Colts offense. Jack Doyle is getting it done. He is providing some waiver wire opportunities for those who he's still sitting around on the waiver wire in the wake of Jordan Reed, Zach Miller, on top of the other 25 injured tight ends right now. He's a solid option going forward. He's shown that he can catch the ball, and Brissett's going to be passing it to him.
Yeah, I definitely think that Jack Doyle is probably the safest guy in that offense, especially the fact that he's filling up a tight end slot, not a wide receiver slot.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good thing. Just a few more standouts I want to mention before we move on. Tyler Lockett, Paul Richardson, both big games. Robbie Anderson, yet another big game. Adam Thielen, still getting it done.
Yeah.
I think he's like second in the league in receiving yards, actually.
Yeah, with this game, he eclipsed DeAndre Hopkins, which is surprising because DeAndre Hopkins just put up 224 yards. But yeah, he's second now.
Yeah, and Marvin Jones and Jamison Crowder are finally getting things going.
Yep.
Yeah, the question I wanted to ask you before, where do you have, we talked about Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson, where do you have them ranked moving forward in terms of quarterbacks?
Just in quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I think Deshaun Watson, I have a hard time this is surprising, but I have a hard time not putting Deshaun Watson at number one.
At number one?
Number one. You can't argue with what he's doing, man.
I mean, I can't. I don't know how, because still it's somewhat of a small sample size. I don't know if I'm ready to put him at number one, but I mean, he's top three.
Yeah.
I have no question or problem putting
if
him
you
there.
were if you were putting him, who's the two that you would put in front of him?
Probably Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And see, that's good. Honestly, maybe he would be top two, but because Brady, I think there's a lot of problems with that offense going on, and Brady, we've seen in the past, he's had times in his career where he's not been a good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting
just
to
fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point where it's kind of leaning that way. He's missing a lot of pieces on that offense.
That's why I put Deshaun Watson over him.
Definitely up there. Carson Wentz I like a lot. I don't know, not above Watson. Maybe 1, 2. Russell and Watson.
I mean, honestly, I was deciding between 1 and 2. It's hard to pick between Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, but at this point, I'm riding the Deshaun Watson train. But I think Russell Wilson's clearly number 2.
Yeah, I'd probably put Russell 1 and then Watson 2. But honestly, for the next 10, 15 years, we're going to be drafting these guys in the top.
Oh yeah,
top 5 quarterbacks. For years to come.
Yep.
Before we move on, somewhat breaking news. I'm trying to monitor this because it's still confusing. Ezekiel Elliott, again, here we go. His appeal.
Okay.
His first appeal was denied. So he is still suspended at this moment.
All right.
Now, apparently there's another appeal going to the the Second Circuit court, which that'll be in by 7 p.m. on Wednesday, so 7 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
So which
is 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just not tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah.
When this airs.
Yeah.
But we'll just see how it goes. I don't know I don't know if that's a sign towards Zeke still getting suspended, because obviously one denied, and we'll see what the other one does. So I
have no idea.
I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't see. That's what I don't know. I'm updating Twitter constantly, and it's going to a second court of appeals. But as I'm updating Twitter, it's I'm looking at Adam Schefter, and if there's a guy to look at, or keep you updated on news, it's Adam Schefter, and he is saying just straight up 6-game suspension standing. His next game will be on December 17th against Oakland.
Which I think, if that's right, that should be most leagues' fantasy football semifinals.
Semifinals, or is it the week before? I thought it was the week before the playoffs started. Because playoffs are usually 15-16.
That's week 15, isn't it?
I think it's 14. I don't know. We'll check it
I think that's week 15.
But anyway, still monitoring it. It's going to be...
Well, one thing we didn't mention when we were talking about, all of this junk, Jerry Jones came out today and said that Alfred Morris will be the starting running back for that team if Ezekiel is out. So
I don't
take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's Jerry Jones. I don't
Exactly, and we have seen most coaches in this league are very misleading in everything that they say. Just like Chuck Pagano saying, we should get Marlon Mack more involved.
Well, coaches...
No, it took an injury to get him more involved.
Well, I mean, coaches for one, but this is an owner saying it.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah.
Jerry Jones, come on now.
Yeah.
All right, moving into the stock ups and stock downs of the week. Give me one stock up you got, Brett.
I'm going to go with my standout for at the running back position, Alex Collins. I think that he's... I think going forward, I don't think there should be any question that he has more value than Buck Allen. Maybe Buck Allen in PPR, but honestly, I'd still rather have Alex Collins just because his yards per carry is just so high, he's so efficient.
Yeah, definitely agree there. The only thing worrisome is maybe Danny Woodhead coming back in a few weeks.
Yeah,
that might be an issue. But as for now, Alex Collins, definitely like him as a stock up. My stock up of the week is one of your standouts, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's definitely getting the target share. I know a lot of people are saying, it's just one big play. Obviously, he's got the big play ability, clearly.
7 receptions. I mean,
yeah,
they're throwing to him.
Yeah, and Martavis, I don't expect, even if he does come back and is active for a game, I still think Juju is going to be the number 2.
Yeah, they've still got problems.
This is just karma for Martavis being basically a douchebag and tweeting out constantly how much better he is than Juju Smith.
Yeah, he's still in the doghouse. Yeah. I mean, he was made inactive for this last game, and they're still not on great terms. So I don't know how you overcome that in the locker room.
Yeah, but I mean, Juju's he's one of the most likable guys right now.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just doing his thing. He's
having
fun.
Yeah,
and
I really like him as a player.
Yeah, chaining up his bike, got his bike back. Who's your? Actually, we're gonna skip stock downs, because we are running long again.
Too much news, man.
Yeah. We'll go over the waiver wire real quick. Obviously, a lot of injuries and trades and implications and suspensions and all that. So waiver wire is gonna be pretty big this week, even though the names might not be that exciting. Who do you have as the top 5 guys you're taking? Off the waivers.
In this order, I have Alex Collins, Corey Davis, if he's still available. He's still available in 75% of the leagues.
I like you mentioned that name. I didn't have him written down.
Top five draft. They're going to throw. They want to throw to him. He's only played 1 game, and so now everyone's forgot about him. They're going to use him. Kenyon Drake, number 3. Robbie Anderson, and then I put Juju Smith-Schuster in there just to. I think he's owned in about 70% of leagues now. So he's
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Which is strange.
Huh.
In Yahoo leagues. But if he's still available, because I don't know how accurate that...
He's probably still available in a lot of, especially ESPN and NFL.
Yeah. I don't know how accurate that stat was for Yahoo, but that's the stat that I saw. But he should be owned in every league.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Obviously, we were talking about Josh Doxson and Juju Smith-Schuster last week.
Yeah.
Juju's... I guess we're switching to that side. I don't know. I still like the opportunity Doxson has as being the possible number 1, but...
If Jamison Crowder, he had a great game. I mean, it's
Doxson,
going to be a toss-up every year. I mean every game.
Yeah.
It's
but
whoever's got the hot hand.
Yeah, Jordan Reed's out, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But Doxson only had 3 targets last game.
Yeah,
so
I don't like that.
I don't, but I still like Doxson as a talent and the situation, but they actually have to get the ball to him. Juju's definitely looking more appealing right now.
Yeah, they're getting the ball to him.
So, yeah, you mentioned Alex Collins, Juju. Definitely got to mention Marlon Mack. I know there were some Frank Gore trade rumors out there, but still I think, that's obviously going to be canned because the deadline's over. But Marlon Mack, I still like quite a bit in that offense. Paul Richardson, I would take over Tyler Lockett. I think Paul Richardson's more... Tyler Lockett's still the big play kind of smaller guy, but Paul Richardson,
I'd take Paul Richardson.
Russell looks at him in the red zone quite a bit. It's pretty good. Mohamed Sanu... I like moving forward.
Yeah, he had a big game.
Devin Funchess is actually still owned in only 47% of leagues.
Yeah, that's definitely going to go up.
Yeah, I was actually I had him listed as my stock down before the Kelvin trade happened. I was actually going to drop him in our league because I was getting sick and tired of it.
I wish you had. I wish you had.
Yeah, but obviously not going to now. Greg Olson, if you have a spot for him, again, I know we called last week like the buy-apocalypse, but I didn't realize there's 6 teams on buy this week.
There's plenty this week.
Yeah.
I'm hurting in multiple leagues.
Yeah, so you might not have a spot to add guys like Greg Olson this week.
Yeah.
And obviously, if Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden are still out there, go grab them immediately. Yeah. I don't really know if I don't know. Would you take Alfred or DMC over Alex Collins for this week? If they were out there and available? Because we still don't know. Zeke might play. I don't know.
I would take Alex Collins.
Alex Collins?
Yeah, I think with Zeke out, I just think you're gonna see more fantasy production from Dak Prescott. I think they're gonna have to throw it more.
See,
I don't think they're not gonna have. They don't have the talent to lean on the running back.
See, honestly, I really don't think much changes at all. I know the running back points are going to be dispersed a lot more because obviously Alfred and DMC aren't Zeke.
I don't even think you can half Zeke's production and split it between those two guys.
I think you can because I think that line makes more. I think that offensive line makes more of Zeke and Dak than they make of that offensive line. I really don't think that much changes. I think they're a team that is very flawed at this point.
Yeah.
They honestly struggled with the Redskins.
They did. They did not dominate the Redskins.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of the 49ers. Cool.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah, but the Cowboys there, I really think they're going to, even with Zeke in there, obviously, if Zeke's in there, I think they'll survive and be okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they're gonna basically be surviving without him too, and they'll get a few wins here and there.
Yeah,
I think the offensive line is good enough to let Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden run behind them. And Alfred Morris and DMC, they've been good backs in the past. They're not Zeke, I understand that, but I think they can. The Cowboys can still rely on the run game quite a bit. All right, so that's going to be our show for today. How did you like the Dirty Girl Blonde Ale, Brett?
I like the Dirty Girl. I
just like saying Dirty Girl.
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason you bought it, but no, it was really good. I did like it.
Yeah, I definitely one of my favorite blondes I've ever had.
I'll keep an eye out for Bryson City, North Carolina.
It's right near Cherokee, apparently. Cherokee, North Carolina.
Yeah, so while I'm gambling, we can go in and get some Nantahala.
Oh, it's a blonde ale, yet there is a brunette on the bottle.
Ooh.
However, it's a dirty girl, so she's a dirty blonde. She's a dirty blonde.
Wow, this is deep.
This bottle has so much meaning. Just buy the bottle, don't even drink the beer. All right, that's going to be our show for today. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments and reviews. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.